me now is the journalist Thamsanqa Zhou. And Thamsanqa, you're obviously a keen watcher of this forum, and you're also from the Southern Africa region. Was there the sense that this time, more than ever before, African governments are addressing and attempting to eliminate the risks of investing in Africa? Because that is arguably the only way to attract private sector investment to the continent.
Well, that seems to be the case, especially when you listen to business leaders who have attended, and those business leaders who have sent their own representatives over there. And what seems to be coming out is this great need for Africa to package especially on issues of infrastructure, which are primary to a lot of investment opportunities that might come later, in such a way that the people who have the money, who want to invest in this kind of growth area, will be able to do so in a very clear and transparent way.
Is that why there was this meeting when we already know that there is the other meeting in Davos?
Well, Davos, what has happened since Davos is they have decided to look at regions. So at the beginning of May, Latin America met in Mexico, and then later on at the end of May, there was another meeting at the Red Sea with the Middle East and North Africa, and then this was the African one. And it was something that they thought, well, there are not many follow-up meetings that happen on a regional and protracted level after Davos. So this is one that might be called a meeting that looks in detail to those activities, economic activities that relate to the region itself.
And of course, it's one thing to look in detail, as you said, at the economics of that region. It's quite another to actually implement the goals that have been set.
Which is why I think the meetings themselves, besides you know, you've got the major conference where people are talking about Africa has to compete with the global world. There are no freebies out there. There's no sympathy for economics in Africa. But there are so many meetings and side conferences that are held together, and discussions and negotiations and deals that are actually signed, and those are actually more important than the main body of the meeting. So most of them appear to be satisfied with what they are getting out of Africa, and that there will be a boosted confidence that Africa has a vision to maintain the economic growth and make sure that the people in Africa also benefit from the process.
And how much was this as an opportunity for South Africa to showcase itself positively to the world in the wake of all that bad press about xenophobia?
I think Motsepe, one of the richest people in South Africa who does mining, was quite clear, because he addressed that point in particular when he said the success that South Africa gets and whatever goes on in South Africa is intertwined with whatever else happens in the continent. So economics or even the social structures and the security issues of South Africa are linked to whatever happens elsewhere in Africa. And I think it was important that South Africa was seen to be hosting this, and peacefully so. And there is another meeting next week, which is the African Union Summit, which is being held in Pretoria, and the other week it moves to Sandton in Joburg. So it is important for South Africa to maintain that image. But I think Motsepe and the others, what they did earlier on in the conference was to address that point. So much so that when President Zuma got up to speak, by that time I think the entire conference had warmed up to the reality that South Africa wants to do something about the image that has been tarnished by the xenophobic attacks.
There was also a session looking at the role of women in economic development. How significant was that? Well,
one of the significant issues is it featured Graça Machel, amongst others, but also a number of women like Linda Mabena, who are upcoming African women who are top executives in international companies, something that was not known of before. So what I think they are addressing, they're looking at, well, can the number of women that are sitting at board level in listed companies be increased, and how can that be done? Can the policies in governments be geared towards promoting the role of women because there's no doubt that women are able. It's only that the questions continue as to why they can't be at the top of the board. But remember, in Southern Africa, they've got what they call the SADC protocol that says that there's 33% or maybe a third of all positions must be held by women. So I think that is a start, but it's not enough.
Tam, we always appreciate your analysis. Thamsanqa Zhou there.